controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. His name is TJ Leo, and I am Andrew. This is episode 31. How are you, my friend? I thought I'd fuck with you after the countdown this time.
I like it. You got me. Was not expecting that. You got me. I am good. I am fresh, as the kids say. Do they say that? I don't know.
Did they used to? That back when we were the kids.
I never said fresh when I was a kid.
I'm trying to remember if I ever said fresh, like, unironically. I'm not sure that I did.
I said cool. I said dope. I said gold.
Wicked, sick.
That was the big one. There you go.
Mm-hmm. We both still say that occasionally.
That was sick. Yeah.
Showing our age.
Is it, or is it still cool to say that? I don't know.
I don't know.
I will not say that's fire. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we would say that's hot.
I would not say that's hot either.
I
would not look at a video game trailer and be like, "That's hot." The kids these days do, though. That was fire.
No, I've said that. I have described the writing in Soul Reaver as white hot because that's how awesome it is. It's so good. The dialogue in that game is so good.
I'll take white hot. That's searing.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
The heat of the sun.
Yeah. Just
blinding.
Hot though. I don't know if I can do that though. Yeah. Gold. I used to say things were gold. That was gold.
Oh yeah, golden. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Cash money. I've never called anything cash money.
No, definitely not something I ever said. Cash money. No.
Do you remember people were saying they were saying serving cunt like a month ago, and then that just stopped?
No.
It's
Thank
fun
God.
to see. It's fun to see what new phrases fizzle out and which ones stick around.
What was the last one that I heard it like 3 times and then it just kind of disappeared? Oh, like on fleek.
Yeah. That was around briefly and also vanished after a little while.
Yeah, and yeet.
I mean, yeet is still a thing. I don't think anybody unironically says yeet.
No, it's a big thing in wrestling right now. There's a wrestler who uses it. Yeah.
My niece occasionally asks me to yeet her onto the couch or the bed or something, something cushioned.
That's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm old. I mean, I know I'm old, but I still get people carding me. So,
who was it? It's somebody I see in my BlueSky timeline all the time, but I can't call their name to mind right now. But they were like, what if the reason, us 30-somethings look so young compared to previous generations is because of all the microplastics in our body? And I was like,
You never know. It's just keeping us youthful.
There is that, there's actually a few of them. Traveling exhibits that have actual preserved human bodies. And the way that they're preserved is with a process known as plastinization. I think that's the word. Where the fluids or the liquids in the body at the cellular level, I believe, are replaced with some kind of polymer. And that's why they don't decay, is because there's no medium for microorganisms to grow in. It's like, do you remember those thermoset resin aquarium things that you can still get them? It's like, what if you filled all the body's cells with that instead of water?
That sounds so healthy.
Well, they're dead, so what do they care?
I mean, I'm not dead, but I'm starting to feel like plastic the more you talk. No, it's so true, though. It really is. It's like, why do we look so much younger? Why are we getting shorter is another question. There's a lot of short people. A lot of short people.
So, in all seriousness, I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's number one, we don't spend as much time out in the sun because so many people have office jobs now.
Yeah, that's true.
People aren't getting as much sun, and sun will fuck your skin up. Like I've seen people who are in their 30s and look like they're in their 60s because they got so much sun exposure that it just
leather skin.
Yeah, exactly. They look like leather. And I think the other thing is people don't smoke as much anymore.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, man. That
also messes with your skin.
Every time I see a young person smoking a cigarette, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
How did you start doing that?
Yeah, like when we were kids, it was still considered rebellious and cool. I feel like that's kind of died off now.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's just, now whenever I see someone younger than us smoking, I'm just like, I wonder what started that.
It became stupid like within a year or two after us, basically. That's when it started to become stupid.
Else probably helped?
What?
Weed is now legal.
That doesn't explain me, though.
Well,
that doesn't explain me. I'm just an anomaly. I don't know. Maybe I look a lot older than I think I do.
No,
or people
honestly,
think I do.
Dude, you and I both. I don't think we've changed visibly all that much since our teenage years. If I get real close to the mirror, I can see like, yeah, I'm a little bit more worn than I look at a distance. But
I think if I got rid of my facial hair, I would probably look a lot younger. Which I don't really want because I look young enough. Like I said, I get carded sometimes, and I'm just like,
it was.
I give them a look like, really? Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Exact same with me. If I went to the liquor store clean shaven, I'd get carded. But if I was wearing a beard, I wouldn't.
It's not. I don't typically get carded for drinks. I typically get carded if I go to the casino. Like when you walk in. And I go to like just walk through like the normal area, like the old people zone, you know, and the security guard would be like,
"Yeah, I've never been to the casino before.
I've been a number of times. I definitely don't go often. I've probably been like 10 times in my life at most. Every so often, you know. Although not these days though, because like who's got extra change lying around where they can go gamble?
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying?
That's like, the thing is that I could go in there, but then what would I do?
Yeah,
you know, I don't exactly have. I mean, I could probably play the slots for a few minutes and then there goes my pocket change. What am I going to do? Feed it a 10?
Yeah, I don't even carry cash. Like, I haven't gone to the bank in like. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah,
couldn't even tell you.
I don't know when the last time I went to the bank was. No. I do all my banking online, like everybody else.
And you can scan checks now. Like, what reason does anyone have to go to the bank unless you need cash for something? You need to take out cash. Which what do you need cash for these days? I mean, the only thing you would need cash for these days is if you're leaving the country, really. And even then, you don't really need to. Yeah, or doing something
but
illegal.
Even then, like weed is the drug that most people use, and it's legal now.
Yeah, and you can go to the 80,000 stores in our city.
Yeah,
for that if you want it.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. The things you would use cash for now: going out of the country, buying some harder drugs, or prostitutes.
Or I guess I was going to say buying like if you were selling something to somebody.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, people use PayPal and stuff like that.
That's
like
true.
Bank transfer, e-transfers and stuff like that now. So like
now imagine if drug dealers and prostitutes used
e-transfers. Yeah. Sorry. Send me an e-transfer to drugs@gmail.com, please. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, let's get on with the show. A little bit of housekeeping and somewhat of a correction. Not really a correction, but somewhat of a correction. First off, we're on Spotify. I realized that I did not put up last week's episode on Spotify. Apologies in advance. I don't know how that got away from me. I realized that just before the show. So I will get both episodes up on Spotify when this one goes up. So apologies to our audio listeners who can't hear me right now. And correction from last week. So not necessarily correction, but something that I don't think we elaborated on, or it
Okay.
didn't specify something that was very clearly in front of us when we were talking about the downsizing of the BioWare team. And how like people were like shifting to different projects within EA, and some of them were let go, etc., so on and so forth. The terrible investor and shareholder corporate speak, all that good stuff. One thing we didn't, or at least I didn't realize immediately, was why are they downsizing? Because Mass Effect 4 or 5 or whatever the heck they're calling the next Mass Effect game has been teased since 2020. So if they're downsizing, that means it's not been in production since 2020. That means it's not even finished pre-production yet if they're downsizing the team. That means they're not in production. What the hell did they what exactly were they teasing in 2020 and 2021?
I have no idea.
Do you remember? They did like the first tease, I think, was the one with Liara in it, the blue chick. They did like a cinematic trailer, and then the second teaser, they released a poster for the next Mass Effect, which supposedly had a bunch of like hints in it, secret hints that people didn't pick up on regarding the next Mass Effect game. And then they did a third one where they revealed somebody, presumably the player character, whether that's Shepard or a new player character, in the N7 armor, like a new version of the N7 armor. And now we're in 2025, and by the sounds of it, they haven't even entered production yet.
Yeah,
what the hell were they thinking?
I never know. I never know anymore.
It's so weird.
Every time that question comes up, I realize I have no fucking idea.
Like
anybody in the industry is thinking.
Like my interpretation of all of those teases was, oh, there's two teams at BioWare, and one of them's working on Veilguard, and the other is working on Mass Effect. That's clearly not the case.
That would have been the smart thing to do.
Apparently, they didn't have enough employees, and now they definitely don't have enough employees for two teams. They're like under 100 people now. It's like, what? Bizarre. Didn't even cross my mind. I'm like, that they're downsizing. I was like, you wouldn't downsize if you were ramping up production for Mass Effect.
Yeah.
You would, if anything, you would hire. You'd be like, oh shit, we need more people to get this out the door. If you're downsizing, you don't have positions for people in production.
Yeah.
What? So for anybody who thought, like me, that Mass Effect was probably a 2026 game, you'll be lucky if you get that thing by 2030. That's unbelievable.
The one possibility is maybe they're outsourcing it to other people, or outsourcing large chunks of it to other people.
It's possible, although there's a big piece of evidence that suggests that's not the case, as we'll get to later in the show. I'm so baffled. So baffled. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Just confused.
On the subject, while we're on the subject of corrections, this isn't a correction, but it's also an elaboration. I have a fifth gaming memory that I thought of.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and normally I wouldn't bring this up, but this one's funny and I like it, so I'm going to share it. It's the very first time I modded any video game. So I assume most people our age, had a shareware version of Wolfenstein 3D that came on one of the 10 billion software compilation, like shareware compilation CD-ROMs that were out there.
Yeah,
those
Diablo
those things were common as dirt. They were everywhere. They were second only to AOL free trial CDs in their frequency. They were everywhere. And so, like, everybody had shareware copies of, like, Wolfenstein 3D, Commander Keen, the original side-scrolling Duke Nukem, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
This particular CD, however, included a utility that I believe did not come with the game, because at least when I've looked at like the folder, because I own a copy of Wolfenstein 3D from Steam. And when I've looked at the folder, I haven't seen the program in there. So I'm assuming it was a third-party utility that they included as a bonus that let you edit the wall textures in the game.
Weird.
So I found this utility in the folder, and I said, oh, cool. I could customize the way the walls look. I don't know why it didn't let you alter the enemies, but whatever. Probably a different format or something. And this is nothing special today. Like, I have a program called Slade that will let you do this. It will let you edit textures for Wolfenstein 3D, for Doom, for Duke Nukem 3D, for like any of the games of that era. It just does them all. But back then, it was still a pretty neat, novel idea. And so what I decided to do, and the very first modification for any video game I ever made, was I went and vandalized the pictures of Hitler that were in the game. There are.
That's better than the previous stories you've told on the show. I'm okay with this one.
So yeah, I just went to town, and there were I think there's 2 paintings of Hitler. Well, I say they're paintings. They're supposed to be paintings. They're heavily pixelated.
Yeah.
But I went and what did I do? I did one of them. I made it look like there was a big like glob of snot coming out of his nose, because I was like 10 years old, and that was the cleverest thing I could think of at the time.
I like it.
Which of course was just like a green pixelated line coming off of his nose. But I was like, anything to make this guy look like a fucking moron. And then the other one was a bullet wound.
Mustache.
Yeah, the other one was a bullet wound in the head, which also was just a streak of red pixels. But it communicated the idea.
Yeah, I like both. Should do both at the same time.
And the thing is, I played that particular installation of Wolf 3D with those modified textures so much that if I play it today and I don't see the vandalized paintings, it feels weird to me.
Right.
Like those vandalized paintings feel like the real version.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Absolutely. It reminds me of when I used to mod. Well, I didn't mod because the game came with a mission and level creator. It was Free Space 2.
Oh yeah,
You could create entire missions, stories, sagas, campaigns.
Love that shit. I love it when games come with their tools built into the game. Age of Empires did that.
Yeah.
Fucking Duke Nukem 3D came with the level editor utility. It was not a great level editor utility. It was very basic, but it was there.
Doom came with one too, right?
No, Doom didn't come with one, but it didn't take long for them to be available.
I meant the new Doom.
Oh, the new Doom, yes.
Yeah, Doom 2017 or whatever.
Doom 2016, yes. It had a function called Snap Map.
Yes,
which wasn't like a freeform level editor. It was like pre-built sections that you could snap together.
That was cool.
But that was done for like compatibility across platforms, because it wasn't just a PC release. But you could still do some really cool stuff with it. I saw some incredibly creative stuff on the
give people tools, man. They'll make some cool stuff.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you could do you could place all sorts of props. You could place like textures on things. You could do scripting. Pretty basic scripting, but still like you could have like, in order to unlock this door, you need to achieve a value of 3, and there are 3 fucking hell barons in here, and every time you kill one, it increments the counter +1. So killing all 3 of them is what opens
the door.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly basic, but that's how that shit works behind the scenes. So it makes sense for it to script it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Free Space editor had similar stuff to that as well. Like you could script everything from conversations with like little portraits would come up with text that you could customize. When they would warp in to the system, like all this kind of stuff. It was I spent a lot of time on that stuff. It was really cool.
What else? Crysis came with the CryEngine editor, and that was powerful. You could use
if you could run it.
Yeah, if you could run it.
If you could run it back in the day. I
Yeah.
wonder if the remaster came with a level editor.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't actually know.
I doubt it, but you never know.
Probably not. Fucking Far Cry on the console came with it. The 360 version of Far Cry, which is the one where you get mutant powers. It's more linear, and you also get these mutant powers. It's Far Cry Instincts, I believe it's called. Has
So many Far Cry
a
games.
level editor in there on console,
Yeah.
and it works really well.
Yep.
Tony Hawk games. Oh my god.
Dreams. Oh wait, we don't talk about that. What a failure that was. Oh my god. I feel so sorry for the people that like spent 1,000 hours trying to build something in that game, and now the games get shut down. Like, oh my god.
Dude, you know what has the most bonkers level editor I've ever seen? The fucking Trials games.
Yeah, those are good.
I fucking found a custom Trials course where somebody recreated asteroids. And it just plays like it's not like, oh, it looks like asteroids in the background of the motorcycle course. No, it's asteroids.
It's just asteroids.
It just plays like asteroids. How the fuck did they do that?
I don't know, man. And why did they spend so much time doing it?
Somebody made a fucking first-person shooter level in one. It's not very good, but it works. Yeah. Somebody made a recreation of a Zelda 1 dungeon in it. How? How the fuck?
In a game where it's just a side-scrolling motorcycle game.
In a game that's basically Excite Bike.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is kind of funny how Trials took that away from Nintendo.
Oh, I mean, Nintendo
it's like, you're not doing anything with it. I'm gonna make something.
Yeah, we'll do the lean forward, lean back motorcycle.
Kind of surprised that. Well, wait, who made Trials?
It was published by Ubisoft. I believe the team was called Red Links.
I wonder why Nintendo never just. Well, Nintendo doesn't buy companies.
No, but I mean, you can get Trials on the Switch. I think Trials Fusion, like the sci-fi one they did, I believe.
There's literally 1,000 Trials games.
Yeah,
and then they stopped making them. They're just like, there's too many. There's like 1,000 games now. You have enough content.
That's the thing, is when you make a game with a level editor so powerful that you can do basically anything with it, you're kind of eating your own lunch.
It's kind of what happened with Mario Maker. You know, they made the first one, and then they made the second one
because only 13 million people had a Wii U.
Yeah,
it's like we can get people to double dip on this one.
Yep, no one, and then they have. I'm surprised they never did a port to the Switch of Mario Maker.
Well, there's Mario Maker 2.
Oh, is that the Switch one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically the first game, but with just everything more.
Yeah. Did you ever play? It was a Switch game where you like make a game. Game Garage, was that it?
I've seen some stuff like that. I've never.
It was a Nintendo game, wasn't it? Game Garage. What? No, it wasn't Game Garage. Shoot. Oh, Game Builder Garage? Is that it? Yeah, Game Builder Garage. It was a Nintendo game.
I've never used that.
Yeah, it was a basic 2D game building game. And it was actually really good. I have it. It's very good.
Oh.
Highly recommend it. If you would probably go crazy over it. Like it's crazy. Like the campaign basically like introduces you to more and more advanced levels of game design. So like it starts off by like, hey, make this guy jump.
Yeah, you do the scripting. Here's how to do the scripting that'll allow this to happen.
Yeah, and then by the time you get to the end, you're making like a full. I can't remember what type of game it is.
Yeah, the thing about that is I would want that to be on PC, because I'd hate to put in all the effort that goes into that and have it be limited to one platform.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is cool. It is really cool though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can share games on it though.
Oh, well then what's the point?
I could be wrong. I never finished the game, like the campaign.
Because like even RPG Maker on the PlayStation, you could save your games to the memory card and then share. I mean, it took up the whole memory card, but
yeah, but this is Switch. They're not exactly known for. Well, I'm just gonna look up. Yeah, like somebody recreated Mario Kart. I know.
Oh yeah, sure. That's
like
that's
the Super Nintendo Mario Kart game.
Yeah. The thing is, whenever somebody has a like a level editor or a make your own game kind of thing, the first thing they always do is let's remake World 1-1 from Mario.
Yeah, they also did F-Zero. They recreated Sonic. That would be interesting. Let me see if I can. Sonic. Oh, 3D. Oh, a 3D Sonic. Wow. Oh, well, it's got 2D sprites, but the world is 3D.
You know, somebody made a Sonic game in the Doom engine, and it's actually like super good.
Wow. People are talented, man. This is the kind of stuff that gets you like on the radar for actual game development. Stuff like this.
Well, the one of the guys who worked on the Kinect, he first got attention. He was the guy who did the basically the reverse motion sensor for the Wii, where it was the sensor bar was mounted to like a pair of glasses. This was all just like very makeshift
concept,
like taped together stuff. But the Wii remote sat on the TV, and the sensor bar was attached to the glasses, and that allowed you to do the kind of head tracking that was needed to get that sort of window effect where the screen would like move along with you as if you were looking through a window. And he put this video up on YouTube like way back in fucking like 2009 or something like that. And then the next time he resurfaced, he was on the Kinect team. So
that's how you get hired, man.
The guy who made Counter-Strike, that was a mod originally, and then he got fucking hired by Valve.
Yeah, same thing with the Dota guys, right?
Dota guys, Team Fortress. Robin Walker was
Portal.
Yep, Portal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Valve doesn't make their own shit; they just hire other people.
Yeah, what percentage of Valve employees are people who made a name for themselves with a mod or like a fan game, and they're like, "Oh no, this is cool as shit. Let's hire them before somebody else does."
There's going to be a coup one day. Someone's just going to take over Valve.
Oh God,
Gabe Newell dead at 87.
That's going to be depressing to think about, because what if the person who takes over Valve after Gabe either dies or retires isn't cool like him, and they're like, okay, we're gonna make
I don't know how cool Gabe is. Gabe's a good businessman, but
the thing, he's not an asshole. Like he's not like, oh, you need to pay to re-download your Steam games. You need to pay a monthly subscription. Like what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff, where they start trying to nickel.
He's not an EA executive.
Yeah, exactly. What if somebody like that takes over? God, that's going to be bad.
I would assume that he's going to leave the company to somebody he trusts.
Yeah, ideally.
We'll see. Okay. Let's get on to what we're playing. I have a bunch of stuff to talk about. So what do you got? You got anything new? Anything?
Just working on Stalker. You know, as it has been.
Still a great experience. Have they patched it at all? Improved it at all?
My
hair up here. Look at this. I'm getting a poofy back here for some reason.
Patching, it's happened. Improved. Dude, there's a shader compilation issue when you boot the game, because when the fuck hasn't there ever been a shader compilation issue in games? You now have to deliberately crash out the game and then reload it, and it skips the shader compilation step because they broke it in a previous patch. Well, there's a special message that says, hey, yeah, we know that this is fucked up. Don't worry, we're working on it.
Well, they're still working in a war zone, so
yeah. I will say, it loads way faster when you do it like this than it took before. It took like 3 minutes to do the shader compilation. Now it takes like 30 seconds to go through that process. So
even on Xbox, it had some pretty egregious load times when I played
positive?
it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I feel bad for them in a way, but at the same time, I think, I think not everyone, but I think a lot of people were expecting a AAA experience from these guys, and that's not just
anyone who's ever played a Stalker game before. I'll tell you that much.
I feel like that's the way they positioned it, though. Xbox, so it's entirely their fault.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's not their niche. They're not going to be a AAA studio. This is not a CD Projekt Red situation where they came out of the blue and were like, hey. We have this monumental shift in gaming with Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Although they shit the bed with Cyberpunk, so they're not.
Well, yeah.
They're not perfect either.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I have 4 things to talk about. Some quick, some longer. Right. PlayStation Plus, the new free games went up on Tuesday. So I picked up Payday 3 and High on Life.
Oh yeah, that's the High on Life is the Justin Roiland game with the talking gun,
comedy
right?
shooter.
Yeah.
I'll start with Payday 3. I didn't play it because immediately upon booting it up, it asks you to sign up for an account, and I said, "Fuck you."
Yes.
No, I'm not. I have a PlayStation account. Just read that I have a PlayStation account.
Why is it that PlayStation games want me to have a PSN account on PC, and now I'm on PlayStation, and this game wants me to have an account? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just said no. I don't care if it's free. I'm not signing up for another account.
Yeah, for a game that you don't even know if you like.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the other thing. This wasn't on my list, but I downloaded a demo of PGA 2K25, a demo for it. Mm-hmm. And it wants me to sign up for a 2K account in order to play it.
Oh my god.
I'm like, it's a fucking demo. Fuck you.
Wait, for the demo?
For the demo.
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's got to be a way to skip this, right?
Yeah.
Nope, couldn't find anything. I'm like, okay, well, not playing that demo. Definitely not playing that game. Like, I used to love playing golf games, but I'm not signing up for a freaking another account. That's two companies that have wanted me to sign up for another account in like this in the span of like 2 days. I'm like, no, not gonna do it. Just not gonna do it. So yeah, I have nothing to say about Payday 3 or PGA 2 or 2K25 because I am done signing up for new accounts. I just don't care anymore. I'm not doing it. High on Life, I've played about an hour-ish, hour and a half-ish. It's very funny. It is not for kids.
No.
Not even remotely close. In the first 30 seconds, you're talking to your sister, and she breaks out cocaine and starts snorting it.
Of course.
It's bad. Your character, though, does not partake in the cocaine. And then you guys go outside, and then an alien invasion occurs, and you grab a gun that's sentient and talks to you, and you get warped to their planet, and you become a bounty hunter. And there's so much swearing. It's so...
Yeah, and the gun is just Morty's voice, because Justin Roiland has like 3 voices that he does.
It's a little annoying. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. It does get a little old sometimes. Mm-hmm. The start of the game is hilarious. Your character is playing a first-person shooter from like... It's not quite Wolfenstein era, but it's like... It's somewhere in between Turok and Wolfenstein 3D. Like it's got pixelated graphics, but you can look up and down and like a third person shooter.
So it's like Hexen or something.
But it's even higher than Hexen. It's somewhere between Hexen and
Quake,
Turok, and Quake and stuff like that. Yeah, probably closer to Quake, I would say. But it's just like a cliche tutorial of first person shooters. So this guy's talking to you over the radio. He's like, "Hey, I'm your divorce attorney, and your wife, she's been abducted by aliens, and she's fucking all these guys, and you got to fuck all these. She's fucking all these aliens, man. So you just got to blow them away. You just got to shoot them. You just got to go, man. Go shoot them. Go shoot them all." And then he like teaches you how to like crouch, and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm your divorce attorney. Did you forget? All right, go shoot those motherfuckers." Like it just keeps talking.
the
It's so
interdimensional
funny.
cable style of like improvisation. Like it really I makes me wonder why they didn't just make this a Rick and Morty game, because like the humor
It is a little weird.
is
Maybe it's just because they didn't
exactly,
want to be constrained by that. They wanted to like flex their muscles a little bit. I
I
don't know.
guess.
But yeah, it's very funny. It's a little bit more deep than I thought it was going to be. But I'm only an hour into it. But like, I got a pistol. I got a knife. The knife talks too. Fucking Jesus! All these guns are going to talk, I'm sure. And the knife acts as both a melee attack and a whip, where you can like Indiana Jones style, where you can like whip stuff and pull yourself across gaps and stuff
like a grappling hook kind of situation.
Almost like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it tries to offend you all the time. Like there's this alien kid who walks up to you and he doesn't let you pass, and he just keeps putting his hands up in front of you. He's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Shoot me? What are you gonna shoot a kid? What are you gonna shoot a kid? And then you shoot him. And he's like, oh, you shot me. I'm a kid. And then you walk down further, and then you meet his mom, and his mom's like, I told him 1,000,000 times you can't get in front of aliens. You can't do that. Oh, but don't worry about it. He was 32. He just 32 in our years. He's not he's a kid, but like he's 32 years old, so it's okay. It tries to justify you shooting him. It's just it's so funny. Just these obnoxious things constantly. But it's pretty funny. It's pretty cool, and it kind of like uses comedy to teach you things too. Like after the first boss, I was looking around the room and I'm like, how do I leave? And the person that you saved is like hanging from a rope, and she's like, okay, you can leave now. Okay, you can go now. And I'm like, where? I can't go anywhere. There's no door opening. There's nothing. So I just get frustrated because I thought the game glitched. So I just melee attacked her, and she's like, oh, and then her a health meter for like a boss shows up.
No.
And I'm like, oh, do I have to kill her? She's like, oh, stop stabbing me. And then the door opens, and the gun's like, oh, good job. You killed the secret boss. All right, let's go. And the door opens, and then she's like, what the fuck? It's just chaos. Sorry, I keep getting severe weather alerts on my phone. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. How long it will keep my attention with its comedy, I don't know. We'll see how it progresses. But thus far, I only have the pistol, and the knife. Oh, and the pistol's got like a secondary fire option, which it also makes fun of. He's like, the secondary fire comes out of my trick hole.
Oh boy!
And it's like a glob of green goo that explodes when it hits the ground.
Yeah.
And then that sends the enemies flying up, and then you can shoot them with your normal fire, and it juggles them.
Oh, that's like the black hole thing in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Lifts up the enemies and just makes them an easy target.
Yeah. Well, each bullet that hits them keeps them up in the air.
Oh, so you really are just juggling them.
You're juggling them. Yeah, it explodes. They go up, and when you shoot them, it keeps them up. The faster you shoot them. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. Yeah, so that's that. I played a little bit of Atlas Fallen with my buddy, because I don't know if I talked about it last week or if it was this week, but we finally 100%ed Remnant 2.
Yeah, you brought that up.
Beat the game on the hardest difficulty, so we are done with Remnant 2, which makes me sad because that game is amazing.
And now they just need to make a Remnant 3.
Oh my god, dude. I'm so ready for a Remnant 3. So ready. I really hope they are working on a Remnant 3. They haven't announced what they're working on, so yeah, I'm stoked to find out what they're doing. Hopefully it's a Remnant 3. But yeah, Atlas Fallen is interesting. I don't really have a whole lot to say. We played about 2 hours of it, I want to say. One thing I'm realizing the older I get is that co-op games for me, I don't think open world is something I enjoy with co-op games, because there's just so many directions to go.
Yeah.
and you have to coordinate constantly in order to stay together.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I would rather have a game that's more of a corridor type shooter, or like, I don't even know, like not even necessarily a corridor shooter, but just something that forces you together.
Yeah, I played Torchlight 2 co-op with someone, and we got separated once, and we like never saw each other again.
Yeah.
it was just gone.
Yeah, like I don't mind playing Torchlight or Diablo on the same system, because when you do co-op, it keeps
it's
you
not
together.
Really split screen, but it's shared screen.
It's shared screen, so
yeah,
you can't
and we've done that. We played through a big chunk of Diablo 3 together.
Yeah, that I don't mind, because it forces you to stay together. There's no, whereas games that are open world, like I don't know, like Far Cry or Dying Light or Atlas Fallen. Yeah. There's such a emphasis on traversal that you can get away from each other very quickly and not realize it.
Yeah, I'm looking at footage of it right now, and it's like, it's kind of making me like, I hate to bring it up because we bring it up so often, but it's kind of giving me Anthem vibes.
Atlas?
Yeah. With like the focus on movement.
Yeah, and it's a melee game instead of a shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually like Anthem. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Anthem is bad. I'm saying it just the fact that you have ways of getting around the world like quickly in this game just reminds me of Anthem.
Yeah, you're like sand skiing basically through the game. It's good. I again, we're looking for a co-op game that makes sense for us, and it has a scale that makes sense for us, and I don't think this is that game. So yeah. I don't think
it doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't look bad. I think it would probably be more enjoyable single player, but it seems like most people online play it co-op. So I don't know. Maybe my idea of co-op is not the same as most people's idea of co-op.
You know what you might be into then? Monster Hunter World. No?
I think we've talked about that on this show before, where that game is too complicated.
It's too complicated, yeah, but I'm talking specifically the co-op, because they drop you into an area that is relatively large, but not really an open world, and you have an objective, which is to hunt a monster.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into those games, but you and I have the same problem with that series, which it's like
just so complex.
Yeah, it's too complex.
If like trying to get into it now it feels impenetrable. Or at least if you wanted to actually take advantage of the systems it offers. Like I feel like I could probably utilize about 10% of what the game actually offers, and then I'll struggle with something in the game and people will say, why don't you just do this? I was like, do that? I didn't know that was a thing you could do. There's an entire world of mechanics I don't know about. What the fuck?
Yeah. I was hoping Wilds was going to be a much more accessible Monster Hunter. Not accessible Monster Hunter, but yeah, maybe that is the word. I don't want them to dumb it down. I just want them to not throw 8,000 things at me per second in the tutorial. Like the first time I played World, by the end of the first hour, I think I must have read like 6,000 sentences of dialogue and tutorial menus. I was just like, you expect me to learn all this in an hour? Like, you need to like parse this shit out.
Yeah. You need to say, okay, hey, here's a few minutes of this thing. Now you've got it. Here's a few minutes of the next thing. Not just, here's a fucking, textbook.
Yeah.
Fucking memorize
that's exactly what they do. Yeah.
This will be on the test.
Yeah. That's exactly how it feels. It's like, okay, I can't do that. Like, I've played so many games that have great design that teach you as you play them. And Dragon Age is one of them. Like, I got, which is the game I'm going to talk about next. I'm way further in it. I might be like a quarter to 33% of the way through at this point, I think. It's always hard to tell with games like this because you revisit zones and like you can see that there's like zones that you can't access yet, and you're like, how big are those areas? Because the map is not revealed, so it's like it's kind of hard to tell. But I've got my full party. I've got all the companions. Some of which I'm not a fan of, and some of which are great. There was a brief period where I started to see the cracks forming for this game, where the dude bros were starting to pierce my brain a little bit. Not in terms of the political nonsense that they accuse the game of, because I could give two shits about that stuff. A game's a game. But just of like they're like, oh, it's not about all the political stuff. It's like the combat's terrible and like the story's terrible and the characters are not relatable and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, clearly you didn't play the game, first of all. But I did start to see cracks where I'm like, ooh, that line of dialogue didn't hit and it should have. And, and like, ooh, this character I'm not connecting with, but I am connecting with this character really well. Like it's keeping me in check a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I'm not 100% like absorbed in.
Yeah.
But I'm not in a threatened state of losing my interest in it. It's just I can see why some people would not connect with the fundamentals of the game.
Knights of the Old Republic had some of that for me, where some of the characters in the game I thought were really interesting, and then some of them I was just like, I do not give a fuck. Like I remember the romance with Bastila came as a surprise to me. She was like, oh, I feel this attraction to you. I know you feel it too. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? Wait, what? Where'd that come from? I was just selecting the light side options, and now she wants to jump my dick.
Yeah, BioWare got a lot better about romancing options with Mass Effect and Dragon Age by having a heart dialogue option where you're like, oh, I know where this is going. Okay, do I pick that or not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand that. I'm enjoying it. The game is fucking huge. These people that say it's not a massive RPG, I'm like, you clearly haven't played this game. This game is massive. I love the puzzles. I love it's got a great exploration aspect to it. Combat I'm still enjoying, although it is starting to get a little bit samey. Like you kind of get into a routine. It doesn't really
happens.
Well, so you haven't played Hogwarts Legacy.
No,
I can't compare it to that. I guess I can't really compare it to an action RPG that other than that one that I can think of off the top of my head. But there's in a to me at least, in a good action RPG, you have an assortment of moves that are for specific situations and specific enemies, right? You want a very varied skill set of moves, right?
Yeah.
And in this game, it doesn't really matter which moves you pick. You can just pick your favorite combo, and it will just always kind of work.
Oh, okay.
It's not like this move is great against shields, and this move is great against barriers, and this move is great against naked, non-armored.
Yeah.
It's just anything will work, and there doesn't really feel like a difference between I think there's 6 different status effects that you can put on them, but none of them really feel different.
They all just kind of feel like when status effects are useless against enemies or
I mean, it works, but they all kind of feel like the same thing.
Yeah. What I mean is there's no point in doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter which one you pick as long as you pick one, basically. There's overwhelmed, sundered, weakened, burning. No, I'm not burning. There's a couple more, but you have to tie them together and you detonate them. So if I put overwhelmed on an enemy, one of my companions can detonate overwhelmed, which makes them take more damage and explode and and damages anyone around them. But the same effect occurs when you detonate any of the side effects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's or status effects. So it's why wasn't there a different detonation for all of them? Why does overwhelmed detonate the same way as weakened? They all should have detonated differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still fun. It's fun to mess around with the different characters. They all have One, two, three. I think they all have 5 spells or skills to use. So you can mix and match and come up with a good party and all that kind of stuff. But it really doesn't matter all that much, which is kind of disappointing. But it is fun. The moment-to-moment combat is fun. The puzzle solving is fun. We'll see where the story goes. The biggest problem with the game, and I do think that this was probably a significant detriment to its sales, is how long it's been since Inquisition.
Yeah.
I think I said it before, like 10 years.
Yeah.
Between games. I don't remember half the shit they're talking about in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They do a decent job of explaining things, but there's so much exposition because they're worried that you're not going to understand things that it gets overwhelming. I really just I don't know what I would have done with it having taken this long.
Yeah.
Because apparently the game was rebooted. I don't know if you know that.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, originally it was called Dreadwolf, and it was a live service game of some kind.
Cool. Thank God it was rebooted.
Well, here's the weird thing, is that it was EA's idea to reboot it.
That is weird.
So that is very odd. And then they took the bones of whatever Dreadwolf was, and they made Veilguard. So
maybe they had a stroke, but the kind that like fixes your brain.
Maybe. Well,
like that time, like that Simpsons episode where Homer got the crayon up his nose, but it actually made him smarter because it was like poking the right part of his brain.
It was poking the part of his brain that was glitching. Yeah, I don't think so. Again, because of news that we're going to share in a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so I'm continuing to play it. I'll continue to give updates, but I'm enjoying it. Right now, I'm sitting at about an 8. It's great. It's definitely not the travesty garbage that the Dude Bros will have you believe. So
no, nothing ever is.
Ignore them. All right. Do you know what time it is?
Ooh, is it letter time?
It's letter time. It's letter time.
It's back.
We haven't had one in a while. It is back. It's been a while. Jay Hayes writes in, I don't think it's a hot take, but for a company that leans so heavily on its rich history of games, it's laughable how none of the PlayStations are really backwards compatible. And what backwards compatibility they do have is locked behind a paywall. Meanwhile, you can still throw an original Xbox game in the new Xbox. Couple of corrections here. Sorry, Jay Hayes. Mm-hmm. So PS2 was backwards compatible with PS1.
Yep.
PS3's original models were compatible with PS2
and PS1. All PS3s are compatible with PS1.
Yep. PS4 was the outlier here. It is not backwards compatible with anything,
which is weird because a software PS1 emulator would be nothing for that system. It'd be so easy to run something like that.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that. I think they were still kind of figuring out their network and like their infrastructure and all that kind of stuff, because the PS3 just was a bad gen
PS3
hardware
is a weird beast.
Yes, it is. Dante is very annoying today.
Oh, is it the Dante moment of the show?
No, it's he's misbehaving moment of the show. Unfortunately, he is whining constantly for no reason. He's got food. He's got water. He just hates when I'm talking.
Yeah,
not to him.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. He's not the center of your attention currently.
Exactly. Yeah. Normally he just comes and sits under my desk, but but today he's deciding to be vocal. I don't know if it's being picked up on the mic or not. Yeah. So PS4 was really the only one. PS5 is backwards compatible with PS4. And then it's got emulation for PS1, PS2, and cloud streaming for PS3. Xbox wise, the 360 I think was backwards compatible with OG.
So the 360, because it's a completely different hardware architecture, it does not natively run original Xbox games, but there was software-based emulation. It was a per title thing, and so not every
on 360.
Not every original Xbox game would run on it, but most of the pretty much anything that you would want to play would run on it.
Okay.
including some stuff that is kind of baffling, like The Thing video game, which is terrible, is part of the backwards compatibility program. But then,
Are you talking about the backwards compatibility program for Xbox Series or
no,
360?
I'm talking about on the 360.
Okay.
Playing original Xbox
Because that sounds
games.
eerily similar to the Xbox Series backwards compatibility system.
That's because that's also what it is.
Oh, it's they just copied and pasted it, basically.
Well, it's not a copy and paste thing, but like, because the Xbox Series and the Xbox One are also a different architecture from the 360, it also needs to be software emulation. Like the original Xbox uses an Intel CPU, and then the 360
everything after it was AMD, right?
No. The 360 uses a Power PC, so it was running what Macintosh ran back in the day.
Interesting.
And then they went back to Intel / AMD x86, which is the same thing that Intel and AMD make. It's powered by AMD, but it's the same architecture. So running original Xbox games on the 360 necessitates software-based emulation, and running 360 games on the One in the series also necessitates software-based emulation.
I don't know what Xbox One's backwards compatibility was. I never had one.
Well, I can tell you because I do know. It had select backwards compatibility with original and 360 Xbox games.
Okay, and then Xbox Series is the same. Certain
and
games
it also
work.
natively runs Xbox One games.
Yeah. Not all backwards compatibility came to Xbox Series X though. Most notably, Brute Force and Mech Assault, among others, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that PlayStation is not. I definitely would not say none of the PlayStations are backwards compatible, because that's definitely not true.
It's inconsistent.
It's inconsistent,
and you do sometimes need to fucking look up a spreadsheet to see what will run on what. But it is present in some form on every PlayStation.
And I will say that he is right saying that the current backwards compatibility they have is locked behind a paywall.
Oh,
at least for PS1, PS2, PS3. PS4, you can just pop your disc into the PS5.
But because those previous systems, those are digital copies only, right?
Yeah, so you have to download the PS1, PS2 copies to your PlayStation from their library that they have.
Yeah.
And then the PS3 is cloud streaming only currently.
I fucking hate the cloud streaming shit. But like it boggles the mind that if I have a disc and I have a PS5 with a disc drive, and the disc is a fucking PS1 game, the idea that they couldn't just write an emulator and put it on there and just have it live on the system is ridiculous.
The cell processor excuse is getting a little old.
Well, for the PS3, I mean, I get it, the cell processor, but like PS1 games, I could run those on my fucking phone.
Yeah, I mean, they have, they have a pretty good selection of PS1 games at this point. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
PS2 needs a lot of work though. But it's so funny, the PS3 streaming, they literally have a server. It's not even a server farm, it's a PlayStation 3 farm. that's how their PS3 streaming works. They literally have PS3s hooked up somewhere, God knows where,
and they just run the game that you select. Yeah,
so when you pick a game, it boots up a random PS3 from their server farm, if you want to call it a PS3 farm. And that's why it takes about 60 seconds to boot up the game, because it's booting up a random PS3 in their farm.
I mean,
it's weird.
That's the logical way of doing it.
It is. If you can't figure out your own fucking hardware to emulate it properly.
Yeah. I mean, look, the other option is you can say, fuck the backwards compatibility, and you download RPCS3 like I fucking did. PS3 emulation is far from perfect, but I was able to play through Demon's Souls.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a fucking PS4 emulator that'll play Bloodborne now.
Yeah, and it runs at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I they're all three companies, quite frankly, are gonna have to come up with a solution for this problem.
Yeah.
The further we get into what's the word I want to look for? Digital only. The harder game preservation is going to be. They need to figure out a way to do that. Every game needs to be available digitally. Otherwise, it's going to be pointless.
I mean, I understand the difficulties in that because if it's a third-party title, there are licensing agreements that need to be signed because they're going to want and they're going to deserve to get a cut of digital sales of their game. You know, just because it's not a new game doesn't mean that they shouldn't be getting a cut for it. But like, I hate that they have to ink those deals like every time a new system comes out. Because when they make those deals, it's like take the virtual console on the Wii, for example. I don't know exactly what the contract says, but I can almost guarantee you that it says, you know, Capcom licenses Mega Man 1 through 6 for distribution on this Wii digital service. And then when the Wii U comes out, it's like, well, the contract only says the Wii, so the lawyers, being lawyers, are going to need to negotiate for this new hardware, and, you know.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Someone needs to make a service where just all these games are available and these companies just have a contract with them and they can pull it at any time or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else they're going to do it. Or they donate to the library or they get a cut of the overall company's profits. I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to go to the emergency room 3 times that night.
Boy, that cut won't be obvious as sin. Man.
We had a small cat-related delay.
We had a cat delay, exactly. Yeah, so
like one platform agnostic preservation solution.
Yeah, someone needs to come up and do that. I mean, GOG is working at it.
Yeah, they started that in the PC space, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, for a console space, like, I don't know what the solution is.
I'll fucking tell you what the solution is. It's people pirating the games because there is no legit solution. If they would just give a legit solution, people would happily pay for it. I mean, that's the shit that happened with iTunes, man. Like, people are using Napster, stealing music, not because it was free, but because it was convenient. People will pay if you give them a convenient means to pay.
It's true. I mean, I use Spotify, and it's the most annoying thing when I go to listen to my playlist and a song is suddenly unlicensed and it's not available anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why didn't you renew the license? You know, now it's just not available. Like, they have to figure out a way of doing that because it happens on the Game Pass and Game Catalog all the time. Every month that we talk about PlayStation
leaving.
Plus. Yeah, what stuff is leaving every single month? You know, stuff replaces it, but it's like, what if I was in the middle of playing Game X? Well, now I got to buy it. Okay, cool. Well, now I have to buy a digital copy. What if you were
like an hour from the end of it, and it's like, oh, now I got to buy it just to get that last hour?
Yeah, it's a conundrum that I'm sure they will fix eventually, but it needs to be. It needs to be fixed. I just don't know what the solution is. But I would not poop on PlayStation for their backwards compatibility. It's fine.
It could be better, but it's not bad.
No, it's definitely not laughable how bad it is. You want to talk about what's laughable is the PlayStation Store itself.
Oh, yeah.
And all the schlop and garbage that is on there. It's absurd.
Same as Steam, same as Nintendo eShop. I don't know how much garbage there is on the Xbox.
It's not too bad on Xbox. They're definitely the best of the 4 e-stores. Nintendo's easily the worst. PlayStation's second worst.
Yeah, it's insane how Nintendo was touted as like, oh, people are like indie devs are going to the eShop because it's not full of garbage and asset flips
and
like
now
Steam, and then not even a decade later, and now it's just as bad, if not worse.
I genuinely don't know how they don't realize this, and that how it's a detriment to their store.
Yeah, because like how much money are those visual novels with entirely AI generated art possibly making? Like, how many people are actually buying those?
Or the 8,000 Flappy Bird ripoffs.
Yeah, like what? How much money could they possibly be getting from that?
There's no way.
Yeah.
The only people that would buy those things are complete, like I don't even know, like just like incompetent people who just have no knowledge.
Buys them. It's the people who makes YouTube videos that say, "Don't buy these shitty games."
Yeah, and they buy them just to get the views.
Yeah.
You know, I played it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't have gave them your money, man. Like, it's true. No, you're absolutely correct.
It's a market of shitty asset flips and AI generated slop subsisted entirely by this subgenre of YouTube video.
Yeah, have you played the latest craze, first person shooter Army Simulator 3000?
At least Deluxe on Steam, edition? At least on Steam you can refund them if it's been under 2 hours.
Yeah, and I think that might be why Steam is the third worst, because people are like the schlop.
Well, Steam also doesn't allow games with AI generated content.
Yeah, and the games that are just complete garbage, like you said, you can get a refund for, so they're not making any money there.
Yeah.
You know, whereas on PlayStation, you're fucked if you buy something and you don't like it. You just have to take it up the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, I don't know. I've never bought anything on there that I regret and tried to return it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but I assume it's probably not great.
Yeah, it's probably not.
Let's see. Nintendo eShop refund policy. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have one.
No, they do not offer refunds for digital purchases.
Do they do that in Australia? Because I think there's a law in Australia that says that they have to.
Australia. Whoops. Refund policy law. A consumer is generally entitled to a refund, repair, or replacement if the product has a major problem. However, there are some major exceptions, such as if the customer changed their mind or misused the product.
Yeah.
Found the product cheaper elsewhere. Knew of the problem before buying the product. Normal wear and tear.
Yeah. Because I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember.
You're right, though.
That being a thing with Steam, like part of the reason they had to enact a refund policy is because Australian law like changed and required them to do so. And I guess it was just easier to roll it out globally than try to geo-lock it to Australian users.
Yeah, it says businesses in Australia cannot display a no refund sign. They can't charge customers to fix products that are not acceptable quality. They must pay for return transportation for bulky items. Wow.
Ooh.
They must tell customers if a replacement is secondhand or refurbished.
Oh.
And repairs must be completed within a reasonable time. Wow. Good for you,
like
Australia.
Legislation gives a shit there.
Yeah. Hey, can we have some of that shit?
Yeah, it's crazy how like most of the good consumer protections that have come in the last few years have come from it being outside North America. Like the whole reason that you can get USB-C on an Apple device is because the European Union said if you are selling a mobile phone anywhere in an EU country, it needs to have a USB-C port. You can put whatever other ports on there you want, but it needs to have a USB-C. And Apple threw a big fucking bitch fit over it, and then they acquiesced anyway because, you know. And now Apple products have USB-C here.
Yes, they do. Everything's got USB-C, basically, at this point.
Yeah.
Until USB-C-D.
USB-C these nuts.
There's too many acronyms these days.
Yeah.
There's just too many. All right, thank you, Jay Hayes, for your letter. We appreciate you. All right, let's do the Metacritic check-in. Nothing crazy. We only have a couple. I don't remember if we talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on Metacritic last week.
I don't remember either.
I don't think we did. I think it just came out this week.
Yeah,
so I'll do it just to be sure.
Just come out.
Sitting at an 88 on critics and an
Respectable.
85 from users. So
Yeah.
it's doing very well. Rift of the Necrodancer. We talked a little bit about that game last week. Sitting at an 80. This is the one that's not like the Necrodancer games.
Yeah.
This is that Rock Band like looking one. It's weird.
Yeah.
No user score yet. 2 new. That's basically it. There's a couple other games here I've never heard of, like Keep Driving and Big Helmet Heroes.
I bet she gives great helmet.
It looks like it's a Castle Crashers ripoff.
No. Man, Castle Crashers is a good game.
Yeah. Can't believe it never got a sequel. It's crazy.
I don't think those guys do sequels.
What do they make?
Well, this is the studio that's run by the founder of Newgrounds, the Behemoth. They did Alien Hominid. They did Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater. What was the other one? Damn it, I can't remember what the other one is. I know that there's
the Behemoth.
Yeah.
Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater. Yeah, you're right. There's an actual game that they're making called Behemoth.
Oh, okay.
Pit People.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Pit People. Yeah. All right. That's Metacritic Check-In. Nothing crazy. So let's get into the news. You said you had one.
Yes, I do have one. This isn't taken from any particular site. It's just a thing that happened. Bloodborne PSX, the PlayStation style demake of Bloodborne, has been DMCA'd, which is not like really a surprise, but also like, why did it take this long?
Well, last week they DMCA'd the 60 frames per second patch.
Yeah. Okay.
So they seem to be going after Bloodborne related stuff.
Yeah. It would be a real shame if there was a copy of that on the Internet Archive and an actively maintained torrent that's being seeded by lots of people.
Yeah.
Definitely don't go and download those.
Yeah, they aren't going in anywhere. Anytime someone does something like this, I'm like, how long was it out for? 3 years? Oh. Your DMCA is useless. Yeah. It's absolutely useless.
Yeah. Now Nintendo will jump on that shit instantly, which is why when somebody made that Link's Awakening HD conversion that lets you play like Link's Awakening in widescreen, like basically
the Metroid 2 remake.
Oh yeah, that one as well. But it's basically, hey, here's Link's Awakening, but you could just see the entire game world all at once because it's a fucking Game Boy game, and so it fits about within a 1080p frame.
Yep.
So when that came out, I downloaded that shit right away because I knew it was going to be gone by the weekend.
Oh yeah, they don't. Nintendo's lawyers are on that shit.
Yeah, they're watching like a hawk.
Yeah, I don't know why they're suddenly targeting Bloodborne stuff unless there's something coming.
There won't be, but...
Well, there's a rumor of a state of play next week. I mean, I'm not one to give the Bloodborne fans any hope at this point.
Yeah, it'd be very cruel.
Yeah, but, you know, it is kind of weird timing that they're suddenly going after Bloodborne-related stuff, so I don't know if that's a new initiative for them to protect their IP, or if they're specifically targeting Bloodborne for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out next week if something happens.
Because I still haven't played Bloodborne. I still never played the game.
It's good.
It looks really good.
I never got past the first... chapter area, whatever you want to call it, because that game's hard.
If next week there's a state of play and they say, hey, we're putting Bloodborne on PC with 60 FPS, I'll be like, okay, here's my money. How much? How much? I don't care. Just take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's inevitable that we'll get a Bloodborne remake or a remaster. I just don't know what's taking them so long, and no one else does.
I don't know.
So we'll see. There's another, it's not really a piece of news per se, and I can't really credit any one particular outlet because everyone seems to be talking about this. And it's something that people kind of picked up on with a bunch of recent console reveals. So the PS5 Pro does not have a disk drive.
Right.
The Switch 2 does have a physical media outlet on it for cartridges. But people are starting to, at least the topic of the week, as it were, for a lot of these media outlets seems to be, is the Switch 2 going to be the final console with a physical media outlet?
Probably.
And it seems to be 50-50 on, people agreeing on this. No one seems to be 100% in one direction, because we've got Nintendo and their new console, which will last 7-8 years, presumably, if it sells well, that will have physical media. But we also have PS6 and Xbox, whatever, coming out in somewhere between 2028 and 2030, probably at the very latest. And we just had the PS5 Pro come out and the newest edition of the Xbox Series X, both of which do not have disk drives.
Oh, there's a Series X that doesn't have a disk drive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They announced it about 6 months ago, something like that, and I think it's out now. And it's it's telling, but Sean Layden, who did a podcast with Kiwi Talks. I don't even know who Kiwi Talks is, but he was,
Kiwi Talks probably doesn't know who we are, so that's fair.
That's true, but I'm not. Well, I got to know how they got Sean Layden, because if Sean Layden will go on their podcast, I want him to come on ours. So for those who don't know, Sean Layden was a former PlayStation executive. He was part of a lot of the E3 presentations. And, well-known PlayStation name before he left PlayStation. Went on the record as saying there's absolutely no way that PlayStation 6 will come without a disk drive. And media outlets picked it up and were like, I don't know.
Is he making decisions anymore? Because if he's not, then I don't think he can guarantee anything.
Yeah, he's a very smart man. I will not ever say anything bad about Sean Layden.
Sure. And he'll know better than we will, because he's worked at PlayStation and we haven't.
Yeah, and he worked at PlayStation during its peak, during its best time, or its resurgence, So, I think there's not pros and cons, but there's reasons for and against the idea of them not having a disk drive. There is evidence to support that, with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 Pro recently being released with no drive and being more expensive as well.
Yeah.
So maybe, so I can totally see them not having a disk drive just to cut down on cost for the next system, because it's already going to be expensive.
Cut down on resales of games.
Cut down on resale.
Like that.
But it's also going to, it's also going to cause issues with the retailers. Yep. They're not going to like that shit.
You know what? They are probably so pissed off that
PS5 Pro.
No, that all of these companies, they're probably so pissed off that GameStop didn't go under during that attempt to short the stock. Remember that from a little, because it means that they're still in business and they still have to deal with them. They would love for GameStop to go out of business, because then they don't have a retail partner that they need to commit physical titles to anymore.
So there's that. There's other factors as well. So one of the financial reports from Sony that came out said that 30% of PlayStation's worldwide game sales are still physical, which to me is not enough for them to be like, okay, we're not selling to them anymore. You know what I mean? So
you don't want to cut out 30% of your market share.
That's huge.
But also, how many of those people can't buy digital? Not
exactly.
Not that
that's
they
the
prefer
question.
Physical, it's that they can't buy digital.
Yeah, what percentage of those people are buying physical because they know it's going away and they're going to be forced to buy digital at some point soon, and they want to get as big of a library as they possibly can before it goes away? I don't know what that percentage is, but are they willing to gamble on that being the majority of those people, I don't think they would be.
Yeah.
Unless they have some statistic that says otherwise. I would be shocked if it is digital only. I think it's pretty much, at least in my mind, a guarantee that we're going to have a disc. But it's going to be the same as this gen. It's going to be a disc version and a discless version of the console.
I don't have as much faith in that as you do, as much as I would like to, because I love being able to have a copy of a game that can't be fucking revoked. So.
Oh, I mean, I don't want it.
Yeah, no, I know you
go
don't
full
want it.
digital.
I'm saying that I don't want it. Just I'm not as optimistic as you are in this regard.
I just think it's too early. I think this will probably. I think the PS6 generation will be the last one with a physical media. I just don't see it lasting more than the next generation.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense
if it's not this one, it'll be the next one for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And you're right. If GameStop was out of business,
they do it right now. They would stop making disk drive equipped systems.
I can't imagine them not doing that. You know. And unless there is a significant chunk of that 30% that just can't get digital games, which I don't think that's the case. No. That's a huge percentage of people that just don't have internet or good internet.
Yeah.
If you can afford a PlayStation 5, which is like $500,
then you can afford decent internet. Yeah.
And you probably can afford internet, right? And the opposite of that is like people are like, well, what if they just don't have access to the internet, or their internet is shit because they live in the country where they get satellite-based internet? And it's like, well, that's true. But what's the percentage of that 30% that is that customer?
Yeah, pretty low, I would say.
I mean, I would assume that if it was 10% or lower, they would be like...
Oh, yeah, they'd fucking cut that off.
No.
They would lop that digit off their hand.
Yeah, but 30%? And that's too high.
That's too much.
Yeah, next generation, it'll just be...
They're just going to say adapt or deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Xbox is a complete mystery to me because...
I don't know. We say this every week. We don't fucking know what's going on with Xbox.
We don't know what they're doing hardware-wise. No clue. Nintendo... I don't know, man. They might always do physical. I don't know.
Nintendo
They're so
is
weird.
Old school in a lot of ways, and some of those ways are bad, but some of them are really good. So we kind of have to accept the fact that they don't really give a shit about having a robust online play experience. But
at the moment, anyway,
they also don't, nickel and dime us with DLC for Mario games. So you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe that we'll get a digital only PS6 generation. I just doesn't make sense to me. Not yet. But if we are, man, crazy.
Well, it is worth mentioning. Sony just ended production of a number of forms of blank physical media, including, I believe, rewritable Blu-rays.
Interesting.
Mini discs, not surprising. In fact, I'm actually shocked that I didn't know they were still making mini discs. I thought they stopped making mini discs like a decade ago.
Yeah, that's weird. There must be countries that love that medium for some reason.
Yeah. But the Blu-ray rewritable discs, that's surprising to me because that still has a lot of utility as an archival format. Just because of the massive capacity that it offers.
I guess with how cheap hard drives are these days, maybe that's why they're just like...
hard drives don't have the same shelf life as a properly stored disc.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There must be... they must have the financial reports to back up that there's no point in supporting them.
Yeah, because they wouldn't stop if it was making them money.
No.
So it must not be making enough money for it to be worth it to them. I guess that's what surprises me as much as anything else. I thought that for sure people would be, at least people in like development and media production would be using rewritable Blu-rays up the wazoo because so much data needs to be stored.
I don't know when the last time you went to Best Buy is, but like they don't even have a movie section anymore.
No.
It's just gone. Their gaming section is pitiful as well. It's
you can buy the hardware, but the software.
Yeah, the software.
There's like a shelf.
Okay. So if you go to Best Buy right now, at least in my town, there is an aisle for Xbox and PlayStation. They're together. One side is Xbox, one side is PlayStation. However, 80% of the aisle is Xbox One and PS4 games.
Yep.
And then there's like a half a shelf for PS5 and Xbox Series. Which tells me that the majority of people on the current gen consoles are buying digitally. And they're still selling PS4 and Xbox One physical for some reason.
Well, and there's not really any reason to stop if they're compatible with the next system.
That's true as well.
I guarantee if like you could play Super Nintendo games on the N64, you would have kept seeing them on store shelves for a lot longer.
True. That's definitely true.
I mean, think about how long PS1 titles stayed on the shelf when PS2 came out. Because PS1 was super popular, and also they ran on the PS2.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, this generation has just been 10 times worse than those gens for sure. I mean, we're in the 5th year of this cycle, and we're still
barely have
PS4
any
games.
like worthwhile exclusives.
I did see that the or that the next Assassin's Creed is current gen only, which is nice. About freaking time.
Like Shadows or the one after that?
No, okay. Shadows.
Because if they're making plans for the ones after that, I'm like, you might be counting your chickens before they're hatched.
Yeah, Hex may never see the light of day. We'll see. All right. Good. That could have been a topic of the week. That's a big one.
Yeah.
But let's continue on with the news. So again, nothing crazy this week, but a few tidbits here and there that are worth bringing up. New report from. So again, all these are via IGN.
Yep.
Just as a note, new Bloomberg report from Jason Schreier, that beautiful bastard, has reported a bunch of updates on Warner Brothers games.
Oh boy.
The first of which is concern about the upcoming slate of games from Warner Brothers games.
I'm concerned about the upcoming slate of everything from Warner Brothers, games or otherwise.
Especially following the exit of Chief David Haddad. It goes on to talk about a bunch of stuff we already know. Don't really care about that. Okay. Warner Brothers Discovery has said Suicide Squad's failure contributed to a $200 million hit to its business.
Dude, that's half a Concorde. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
It just came out.
Check that off the bingo card.
Yeah, there it is.
And Multiverse is added to another $100 million on top of that.
Really?
Which boggles my mind. Why was that game invested that much?
I would never have imagined that much money was invested in Multiverses.
Crazy. And then Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, which also failed to make an impression, although I'm sure it didn't cost nearly as much as those ones did. Let's see. Speaking in a financial call, Warner Brothers Discovery. God, their name sucks. They need to come up with a new name.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery. That's terrible. Just
remember when it was AOL Time Warner?
Oh my god.
How is that somehow easier to say than Warner Brothers Discovery?
Warner Brothers Discovery. It's just too long.
Yeah.
Like WBD. All right. The Warner Brothers, well, I'm just going to say Warner Brothers. I'm not just saying Discovery. It's stupid. Warner Brothers president and CEO, David Zaslav, said, quote, "We recognize the games business is substantially underperforming its potential right now." You think? Where's the new shit? They buried the lead in here.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that already in previous shows. Okay, here we go. So they're obviously making a ton of changes to how they make games, but it may be some time before fans see the result of this work. Bloomberg said Monolith Productions' Wonder Woman game is in trouble after being reportedly rebooted and switching directors early last year. And it's already cost more than $100 million and is still years away from release.
Well, I mean, I have faith in that team. But that is a lot of money.
I think people give that team too much credit. I mean, they made 2 great games, but they were the same game. Let's be real for a second.
Hold on a second. You're forgetting Fear.
Sure.
They made Fear.
But
they made Blood.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You can out of the time that it took them to make the two what are they, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games, like Naughty Dog put out like 5 games. Like, why is it taking them so long to make games? I don't understand.
I don't know. You take the time you need. If the game is good, I don't care how long it takes.
But I mean, it's being reported this game is being rebooted, which means if they started early last year, that means they're barely a year into development of this game at this point.
Yeah.
After spending $100 billion, this game's probably 2028, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, who knows? Oh, they also gone.
I guess it depends on the extent of the reboot. Like, is it we're shifting...
switch directors and is rebooted.
Yeah, but when they say rebooting, is it like, are we shifting focus, or did they just burn everything and start from scratch?
Well, it goes on to say Monolith's reimagined Nemesis system. We know what that is from the Shadow games. That would see Wonder Woman befriending enemies has been ditched in favor of a more traditional action-adventure game. Its fate remains in question. Not a good sign. Meanwhile, Gotham Knights developer WB Games Montreal pitched a John Constantine game, but it was never approved. A Flash game was scrapped after the DCU film bombed.
Yeah.
And it's now helping out with other games and is reportedly working on a pitch for a new Game of Thrones game. So that developer's doing nothing, basically. They've done nothing since Gotham Knights. Not good. Hogwarts Legacy developer Avalanche, though, we know is working on a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy. Good. And fans of Rocksteady will be excited to hear that the studio is looking to return to Batman for a single-player game, but according to Bloomberg, it's years away, and there's no word in Bloomberg's report on what's next from NetherRealm.
I would imagine it's probably another Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only thing they do these days.
Apparently, Mortal Kombat 11 did not do very well. It's doing fine, but it didn't do... Or is it 12? Oh, no, it was Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat 1. The 11 millionth time they've rebooted Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, apparently it did not do as well as they assumed.
So I saw this take on BlueSky. Again, I wish I gotta fucking write these things down. Like when I see something that I say, oh, I might want to bring that up on the show. I gotta write it down so I know.
This is why I use Discord.
Yeah.
I just always have it open, and I have a notes section in my server.
But somebody said that, like, people buy Mortal Kombat, but people play Street Fighter. You know, like, they'll get Mortal Kombat and they'll play it for a little while, but it's Street Fighter that has the longevity, that has like a scene built up around it. That
sure,
you know, I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't a Mortal Kombat scene in fighting games. Like, there are people who run like locals and stuff, but it's not what it is for Street Fighter.
Yep, that's true. All right. Yeah. So WB Games not looking like we're gonna hear from them for years. Like nothing from them for years. I bet you it'll be at least 2027 before we hear anything from any of those studios. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, as long as it turns out good, I don't mind.
As long as that division survives.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Before right. David Zaslav cuts it for a fucking tax break.
All right, next up, EA has confirmed the end of support for Need for Speed Unbound, just over 2 years after the game came out. The wider part of this story is that EA is combining 4 different developers into the Battlefield minds.
Oh, God.
So Criterion is one of them. They're working on Battlefield, Motive, DICE, and Ripple Effect.
DICE has been working on Battlefield for a while.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, DICE, Criterion, Ripple Effect, and Motive are all working on the next Battlefield game.
I wonder if any of the people who made Criterion what it is are still there. or if they've jumped ship to do something else.
I have to assume that the majority of them are gone at this point.
Because if they still had a bunch of people who made like Burnout 3 and stuff, that'd be such a phenomenal waste of that talent.
Speaking of which, I meant to get you to look at a trailer today, and I forgot. It's called Speed Demons 2. It is a side-scrolling Burnout-like, and it looks really cool.
Interesting. Well, fuck it. Yeah. I'll look at that right now. You can get my live reaction to it. You keep wanting to do a reaction video, so what's it called? Speed Demons?
Speed Demons 2. There must have been a Speed Demons 1, I'm assuming, but Speed Demons 2 is the trailer that I saw yesterday or the day before.
All right. Okay, so this looks like you know those cars that are like magnetized to the track, like the little model cars? Yeah, it looks kind of like that.
It reminds me of that RC Pro game.
Yeah, RC Pro, exactly.
Yeah. Except with explosions.
Well, yeah, way better graphics. Like almost 40 years later.
And you're only going in one direction instead of having a 360-degree isometric view. Yeah, it looks very pretty.
This looks okay.
Yeah.
I can't see myself sitting in front of it for hours, but this looks like the kind of thing that would have done really well on Xbox Live Arcade, like back in the mid to late 2000s. You know,
remember? Oh, what was that game? That Cars game?
Calling All Cars.
Yeah, good lord. The days of
David Jaffe.
Yeah. He's a special cat.
Dude, like, I don't want to disrespect David Jaffe because he's been involved in some really good games, but dude, come on.
He would never survive the current climate of...
He's got some boomer ass takes on games. Did you see those clips of him streaming fucking Metroid Dread when it came out? And he's struggling with it. It's like, dude, have you never played a Metroid game before? Why does it surprise you that you have to bomb the walls to look for breakable blocks? That's how every Metroid game has been.
Yeah,
Come on, man. Like,
I guess
there's legitimate complaints to be made about like Metroid Dread, but that's not one of them.
Oh, we have breaking news.
Oh, we have breaking news.
PlayStation Network is down.
Oh, well, is this an outage that's going to get me a bunch of free games again?
Hopefully. Well, it won't get you any free games, but it'll get me some free games.
You can get fucking Infamous and Little Big Planet 1.5 years after they came out.
Yeah, it's been down for 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
So that means it went down while I was playing Dragon Age.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good thing it didn't kick me out.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's not a live service game or you'd be fucked.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Oh, there's other breaking news. Holy crap, what's going on? Okay. Well, I'll read this one because this one's kind of interesting. It's the first time I'm reading it, so apologies if I don't get everything correctly. But Insomniac Games founder and outgoing president Ted Price is sitting down for interviews now that he's been announced that he's retiring after 30 years at the helm of the studio. He most recently hung out with Kinda Funny Games for a chat and was asked if there was a favorite game of his that was pitched but never made. And he shared his answer. Resistance 4.
Yeah.
According to Price, he and the developers did pitch that one, and it was a wonderful concept, and just in terms of timing and market opportunity, it didn't work out. He added that the Insomniac team were passionate about extending the story further because I do believe that Resistance has set up a really cool alternate history base where anything can happen with the Chimera and where they go and what their origins are. Yeah, Resistance is super underrated.
I'll tell you what the origins of the Chimera are. I was going to make a joke and then I realized I was talking about the wrong franchise.
Yeah, wrong franchise.
I was thinking of Killzone.
Yeah,
I was going to say
that's the Hellgas.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody watched the red spectacles and thought that those soldier outfits were really cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Wrong. Same publisher. Wrong franchise.
At least I caught myself before I fucked that one up. It's always really embarrassing when I listen back to the show and I realize that something I say was crazy fucking wrong. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I sound like an idiot. And now it's
just got to do corrections.
Now it's there forever.
Yep, it's true. This is
why I like it when I'm editing and I can just fix that shit.
Yeah. I loved Resistance. It's a very what's the word? Inconsistent series, though. The first game was like a classic first-person shooter where you had health and you had to get health packs and all that stuff. And then the second one was more like Halo, and then the third one kind of went back to the original style. But it's a great series. Just inconsistent and but you can see Insomniac all over those games though, with all the different weapons in those games are crazy. That's also a series that is not available on backwards compatibility because all those games are stuck on PS3.
Wasn't the first one a PS2 game?
No, that's Killzone.
Oh, again, I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
Yeah, Killzone was the ones with the Hellgast. The Resistance ones was the alien invasion of.
Yeah, that's the one with the box art is like the skull that has 4 eye sockets and like 8 fangs or something. Yeah. That's
Resistance. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it takes place during like World War II, and the aliens come and invade. I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah. All right, let's move on.
I did it again in my head. I was thinking, oh, it's like that PS4 commercial, but like, no, the PS4 commercial with the the 2 guys who are singing that song to each other when they're playing game, and there's the with the Lou Reed song, fucking what a perfect day, drinks
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it was there's a part where they're reenacting an online shooter, and I was like, oh, it's like that, and I was like, no, that's fucking Killzone again, because one of them has the Hellgast mask.
The Hellgast helmet.
Damn it!
You just love Killzone.
I don't though. That's the thing. I played like Killzone 2 or something, and
great game.
The controls were super delayed. I hated it.
They are delayed. I do agree with that. Once you get used to it, though, that game is great. That game has one of the.
I hate that shit.
It has one of the best endings to a game ever. Like, but maybe not an ending, but like one of the best final levels of a game of all time. Like, it's just a slaughter. Like it's intense. It's so intense.
Oh, and they wanted me to like turn a valve by like rotating the 6-axis. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, they didn't have any of that in the third game.
I bet, because people fucking hated it.
I don't think they had anything funky like that in Shadowfall. They probably used the touchpad in Shadowfall, though. Yeah. That was the PS4 one. And then they moved on to Horizon after that. All right, let's move on. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I mentioned earlier today, has already sold 1 million copies.
Yep.
Developers call it a triumph.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's great for them. I don't think I'll play it. It's not. I tried to play the first one and I was like, this is just a little too slow for me, a little too in depth for me.
Yeah, it's like an open world action RPG. But
almost like a sim, though.
But yeah,
it's so deep.
It's not like Skyrim. There's no fantasy elements or anything.
No.
So it's a little slow.
Yeah, but getting great reviews and selling well.
Yep.
So congrats to them. GTA 6 release date still set for fall 2025. Take-Two CEO insists. Don't have anything really to say about that in terms of the article.
Yeah, I'll believe when I see it.
But. I think if you were that confident, you would put a date on it.
Yeah.
By now. So I think you're still concerned.
Yeah, especially since it's been almost 12 years since the last one came out.
I will say though that hey, developers and publishers, get your games out before August. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You wait until after then. I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's trouble. That's trouble.
Yeah.
God, can you imagine how big the install for that game is going to be? Probably going to be like 300 gigabytes.
Yeah, it's not going to ship on a disc. It's just they're just going to be like, no, it's digital only, guys.
I mean, you most of the games that you get now, you still have to download a bunch of shit even after you put in the disc, right?
Yeah, day one patches.
I mean, there are some games that literally do not have the full game on the disc or on the card.
Capcom was notorious for that.
Yep, there's one of the NBA 2K games on the Switch has a graphic on the box that says full game installation requires internet connection.
Mm. Oh, at least it's on there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Speaking of, alerting customers, Steam has made some changes. Steam now warns PC gamers if an early access game hasn't seen a recent update.
Oh, is that a new thing? I thought they've been.
Yeah.
I thought they've been doing. Maybe they was just talking about implementing it a while ago, and that's what I'm thinking of.
Says, as spotted by Steam database, an extra note now appears inside the early access game or software box if it hasn't been updated in some time.
Mm-hmm.
We've found notifications like this on several dormant games, as well as early access software tools currently available for sale on Steam. The exact window seems unclear, though. It does seem to kick in after about a year. Mm-hmm. This joins the box of information already shown from early access games, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so there's an example here that says it's where it says early access game, and then it explains like what early access is, like all that crap. Right at the top there's a note that says the last update made by the developers was over 18 months ago. The information and timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yes, like that. Big fan of that.
Yeah. I think there was a... Where was it? I don't know where I read it, but maybe it was something that they're thinking about implementing. I don't remember, but someone was talking about them putting a little bit more pressure on early access developers. Because like some of these games, like you get like because like this isn't going to help if the like the time frame is a year. Because these developers that are like not scamming people, but are just like completely not devoted to it. Like this is their hobby and not their their business. They'll just wait until the day 364. Yeah. And then they'll post a little update that says, "Hey guys, progress is going good. All right, peace." You know what I mean? Yeah. Just to get around this.
It's not a perfect solution.
No, but it is something.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing. But I do think that they need to be held to a better standard for early access games.
And the reality is, like, early access a lot of times is smaller teams where they don't have a date set in stone, and they can't commit to a date set in stone. And it is they should require more consistent updates. Yeah. Like there should not be a 3-month period where you don't hear anything from them. Some developers do like a weekly update. Some developers do a monthly update. Yeah. But to go 3 months or more without an update, I'd be like, as a consumer, I'd be worried that game is in trouble or being dropped. Like 3 months is a long time. Well, there's a horror game that I have that I bought in early access, and I believe is still in early access, and it went like a year with no updates and no word from the developer, and people were like, "Oh, it's a scam! Don't buy this." And the developer showed up and was like, "Hey, here's a big update. Sorry it took me a while, but here it is." And it added a whole bunch of new shit to the game, like almost doubled the size of the game.
Yeah, and that's totally cool, but communicate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, why didn't you just put up a thing that said, "Hey, we're making progress. We are working on it. You know, this is the things that we're currently working on." Like, I love when early access games have roadmaps. Yeah. When they don't have a roadmap, that scares the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm not buying this.
Yeah, the roadmap, even if they can't adhere to it perfectly, it at least shows you that they've planned it out. And they're not just, winging it.
You don't need to give me a month by month roadmap. Just say, like, 2025, this is what's currently in the plans. Yeah.
Here's the features that we're working on this year. Here's the features we're working on next year.
Helldivers does a great job in their patch notes when they release patches. I know it's not an early access game, but like they have a section of fixes, and then like priorities, and then stuff that's still on the back burner. So you know what's coming soon. You know what they've had to put on the back burner, and it'll take a while to get to. Like they keep you in the loop. I just hate games that don't do that. Like Valheim's not great at it either. Honestly, like they do an update like every 4 months, maybe something like that, and it's usually just some screenshots. But at least they're doing something. I just think more transparency would be nice. All right. Next up, this is just a small thing, but Obsidian RPG Avowed can hit 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X. This was previously a big kerfluffle, I guess. This was a while ago when they announced that Avowed was going to be a 30 frames per second game, and everyone was like collectively like, this is a first person action game.
Yeah,
you cannot be 30 frames per second in 2025. That's just not acceptable. And I wrote the game off when I saw that. I'm like, I'm not playing that.
You mentioned that.
I can't do that. When I found out Redfall was the same thing, I was like, well, I'm not playing that.
Yeah.
Not that game turned out good anyway, but like 30 frames per second is acceptable in certain games.
Yeah, slow games.
Slower games. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But fast-paced games, racing games, fighting games, action games.
Shooters.
You got to have a higher frame rate than that.
Yeah, I could give two shits if Civ 7 was 30 frames per second.
Who the fuck cares? That game could run at 1 frame per second, and it wouldn't really matter.
No, but, Avowed needs to be 60.
Yeah.
So they did confirm it will be 30 frames per second on Xbox Series S, but that's fine. You're paying for the lesser console. You're going to have to expect some lesser performance. They have not cleared up whether or not the game will have a performance and graphics mode, though, which I'm noticing more and more games don't have that choice anymore. I don't know what the hell's happening.
It's probably just a matter of it getting more and more complex to implement, especially when it comes to like ray tracing features in games.
I mean, just disable it.
Yeah, but if you've built your entire model, like your entire lighting model around the ray tracing features, disabling it would completely fuck up your rendering pipeline. It's like, oh, there's no lighting in the game now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'm looking forward to Avowed. I hope it's good. Everyone, it's previewing well. Yeah. And now that they've confirmed that it should. Now, the quote is you can get up to 60 frames per second. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be a 60 frames per second lock.
Well, that's,
But I'm okay as long as it's genuinely close to that, like a 55 to 60 range. I'm okay. If it's all over the place, 30 to 60.
Yeah, that's
a problem.
Yeah, then it looks kind of sludgy when they do that. Like it's it's looking really clunky. Oh, it looks perfect, and it's really clunky. Oh, it's perfect. It happens when you look at a wall, it's the frame rate suddenly perfect.
That pissed me off so much in Assassin's Creed games. You would be climbing, and the only thing that you could see was the building and the sky.
And the frame rate
and all of a sudden,
was amazing.
Yeah, it's like 100 frames per second. You're like, oh my god, I wish the whole game was like this.
And it's a fucking slideshow.
Yeah.
Infamous did the exact same thing when I was climbing up walls in that game.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this game would look so good.
Yeah.
If it was 60 frames. Yeah. So anyway, Avowed is coming in the next few weeks here. So, and I'll be able to play it. It's going to be on Game Pass.
I mean, Obsidian. I have faith in Obsidian. They don't generally make bad games over there. They seem to know what they're doing.
Yep. All right. Next up, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater apparently arriving in August, according to PlayStation Store.
Oh.
So Snake Eater, the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3, will release on August 28th, according to what appears to be a PlayStation Store leak.
That is sooner than I expected, but okay.
I figured it must have been soon. I didn't have an idea. But August is about what I'd expect. I think it definitely wants to get ahead of all the fall crap. That game would just get completely lost, and no one would give a shit if it was in the middle of fall. So
yeah.
Let's see. Konami's remake of the PlayStation 2 stealth action title has finally been updated from an obviously defunct 2024 release window, seemingly out of nowhere, with even a new trailer having leaked via the PlayStation app version of the store. An Ape Escape collaboration has also been teased, which was followed by a message that reads, "and more," which seemingly alludes to further crossovers coming to the game.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about the Ape Escape thing. There was a thing in the original version of MGS3 that there was like a
monkey minigame.
Yeah, like a monkey minigame where you had to find and capture the monkeys.
Yep. So apparently Ape Escape, the monkey, is going to be replacing that monkey, I guess. I don't really know. It says it's unclear why the release date and the new trailer have appeared now, though if rumors of a PlayStation State of Play showcase coming next week are true, it may be, that someone has simply pulled the trigger a little early.
Yeah.
it makes a joke, a fatal mistake when it comes to stealth action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. So, I think it makes total sense if there's a state of play next week. Well,
Yeah.
spoilers, Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to be there. This one's just a small one. Resident Evil Reverse shutting down as Capcom reaches new turning point with the franchise. Capcom announced the shutdown in a blog post, despite also saying the game had exceeded expectations, saying it served its celebratory purpose admirably, but is no longer needed as it has reached a new turning point for the series. Resident Evil Reverse and all of its downloadable content will be removed from sale on March 3rd, but those with the game already downloaded will be able to access it until June 29th. You will no longer be able to play Resident Evil Reverse once service has officially closed. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that shit. I hate that online-only shit.
Yeah, this was their 80th attempt at a multiplayer Resident Evil game.
Yeah, and it's never fucking worked. I don't know why they keep trying it.
I don't know either. I have no idea.
The fact that it wasn't dead, like, on release at least means that it did better than fucking Umbrella Corps.
Yeah, I played it. It was slightly better than Umbrella Corps, but it was not great.
That is damning with faint praise if ever I've heard it.
Yeah, IGN gave it a 5 out of 10. So.
Yeah, I bet.
Not good. It says there are some good ideas in Reverse, but balance issues, a lack of content, and aggressive monetization make it little more than sometimes fun. Sounds like a multiplayer Capcom game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think we've talked about it before on the show, but it's such a shame that they didn't look at Mercenaries mode and go, "Holy shit, we have something here."
Yeah,
Mercenaries mode was amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy win.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be a fucking esports game.
Yeah. 2 more here. This one I debated putting out. Super Smash Bros. Creator Sakurai has reposted the Nintendo Switch 2 direct date and time announcement with a single sound of excitement. Ooh! And fans are freaking out about it, teasing a new entry in the beloved Brawler series.
Oh my god.
It goes on.
Or maybe he's just enthusiastic.
Yeah. There's
a
1% chance that a Super Smash Bros. Game will be revealed at that direct. And 0.8% of that is a port of Ultimate, like a remaster of Ultimate.
I don't think they'd do that because it's already compatible with it.
I only gave it a 0.8% chance.
I don't think it's even that much.
No. Oh my god. Well, they are rumored of remastering Breath of the Wild for Switch 2, so I wouldn't put it past them to. I mean, think about it this way: new generation of Nintendo. Okay, hey, we could sell Ultimate twice. Get an Ultimate Deluxe edition where you have all of the DLC included.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if that was their line of thinking, they would have just done that with Smash Bros. 4 and put all the Wii U and 3DS content in one game for the Switch.
I just think they're not going to sit on Super Smash Brothers for a switch to the Switch 2 generation.
I don't think
they're not going to. But I don't think they're going to create another one though.
Well, here's what I think. I think they'll probably just kind of do a reboot of the series and have somebody else direct it, because I'm pretty sure Sakurai wants to have something else to do with his time.
I mean, definitely.
Nobody should have to put up with the amount of shit that man has to put up with.
I feel like that would be a really bad idea, though. I don't know.
If they got the right person to spearhead it, then it might be really good.
If I was the head of Nintendo, I'd say do the Game of the Year edition of Ultimate with all the DLC included. Up-res it or whatever you do for whatever the Switch 2 hardware specs can do.
Yeah, but
and leave it at that.
Who would buy that doesn't already own the game and all the DLC? Like, who is that for?
That's a good point. I don't know. That's a good point. We'll see if they do it, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would bet money that they will do that.
I think it is. I mean, just a re-release that just has all of the content in there.
And a remaster, like up-res it.
Well, I mean,
I think
running it at a higher resolution isn't that difficult to do.
No. No, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think it would be like a huge upgrade by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. That's all it was though for that article. And then the last one that I have here is 2 more Xbox exclusives are coming to PlayStation 5.
Ooh.
Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition and Age of Mythology Retold.
Okay.
Are coming to PS5.
It is
on
crazy
March
that
4th.
they're still releasing Age of Empires 2 stuff.
Yeah,
That game just vanished for like 20 years, and then it fucking came back, and it's like, here's a whole bunch of new scenarios and campaigns, and then another version of it came out, and it's like, here's a whole bunch of more new stuff and native 4K graphics.
Yeah. And they did a re-release of Age of Empires 1 and 3, and then they did a 4th game.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is very weird.
It's like Ensemble Studios was in a coma for 20 years, and when they woke up, it was like, fucking,
oh shit, we gotta get this shit out.
Let's get back into it.
Yeah, holy crap, what did we miss, bro? Yeah, exactly. It's very strange.
I love Age of Empires. I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at all real-time strategy games.
Same.
I'm dog shit at them, but I love them.
Yeah, I fell out of love with them because I know I'm so bad at them. I will say, though, that the StarCraft 2 campaign is insanely good. It's so good. Mm-hmm. It's like, for me to say that about an RTS campaign, I mean, what RTS campaign can you think of that is like mind-blowing? They're all kind of
StarCraft 1 and Brood War, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's like it's only competitor.
Yeah, they just followed suit with what they'd already done.
Oh, they went above and beyond, dude. Like, there's like story paths and like choices that you have to make. It's crazy. It's so good. And there's 3 DLCs for it. 3 expansions or 2 expansions.
Well, it's the human campaign, the Zerg campaign, the Protoss campaign.
But it continues the story the whole way through. It's not like it's just 3 viewpoints or anything like that. It's like a whole story. It's crazy. It's amazing. I never played the 3rd one. I only played the first 2. All right, that is the news, ladies and gentlemen. And we do not have a topic of the week this week, so a little bit of a shorter show, which means it's time
for 20 questions.
Video game 20 questions. That is right. We're doing co-op once more. Again, we're going to keep going until we get screwed. Up. Yeah, we're going to keep going until it screws us. All right, let the questioning begin. I will say, I think we may be getting too much of a hint with the developer. I'm thinking that if we get to 10, we should go with publisher. I think that might be a little bit. I think developer's too good of a hint.
Yeah, but the thing is that because it doesn't give us context or anything, we need all the help we can get.
Well, okay, why don't we do publisher first, and then if we get to 15, we'll go developer.
Sure. Okay. Sure, that's fair.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we'll start with our normal question.
Yeah.
Did this game
Try to lock in
release
the date?
Yeah, on or after January 1st, 2000? Yes. Lots of new games. They're picking. Same question, 2010. No. Okay. All right. A little bit older of a game this time. So 2000s game.
Well, that narrows it down pretty quickly, and we don't burn an extra question.
Yeah. Let's go with our tried and true. Was this originally exclusive to one platform?
Yeah.
Was this game originally exclusive to one platform? Yes. Okay.
Well, let's narrow it down. Was this exclusive to an Xbox platform?
We should probably go with the one with the larger amount of exclusives, which would have been... Well, I guess they would have been tied back then. It would have been pretty even, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start with Xbox. Was this originally exclusive to an Xbox platform? No.
Okay. So it could be Nintendo or it could be Sony. Do you want to rule out Nintendo?
Yeah, I think that's a better option. No.
Oh, great. Oh, no.
It could be PC.
It could be PC, but it could also be PS2.
What's wrong with that?
There's so many games.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, no.
Could be PS2 or PS3.
Or PS3. Or late PS1 games. Or PSP games.
All right, let's clarify if it's a PlayStation platform game. Not a PlayStation game. So that means it has to be. Oh, it could be Sega.
Yeah, it could be Dreamcast.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh. Do we burn a question on that, or do we just go to PC?
No, we got to be specific. Let's ask, is this game on the Dreamcast?
No. Okay. So it's got to be a PC game.
No.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Well, not back then though. Back then there wasn't. I mean, there was a lot of exclusives. Don't get me wrong, but like good exclusives.
Well, it doesn't have to be a good game.
No, it doesn't. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. Where do we go with this? A 2000s PC game. I mean, it has to be PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else it could be. No other platform.
No.
I don't think so. Okay.
Oh man. And what does it count as a PC game? Does it count like Flash games?
No. It would have to be in IGN's database.
Okay.
So.
How many are we up to now? Like 7?
7. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how to go with this.
The publisher isn't going to help us because it'll be like, oh, this was published by EA. Yeah, thanks. Of course it was.
Did EA publish a lot of PC games?
They
back
published
then,
a fuck ton of PC games, dude. The
PC,
Sims.
Oh. Yeah. Maybe we should ask you. Well, I mean, that would help us, though, because that would narrow it down to probably sim games. Like simulation games. But in the 2000s...
We'll wait to do that until we need the publisher hint. No point in burning a question if we can just get it as a hint.
Okay, so where do we go with this? If we don't go publisher, developer would be too hard for 2000s, I think. PC.
How about, did this game have multiplayer?
Sure.
Very popular in PC games.
It did have multiplayer.
Okay, so we could be looking at a shooter. We could be looking
RTS.
at RTS. Could be Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Could be Warcraft 3.
Could be World of Warcraft.
Could be World of Warcraft. Oh god, there were so many MMOs in that time period.
Maybe we should ask a 3-genre question. Like, was this an MMO, a real-time strategy, or simulation game?
Is it going to understand? Is it going to parse that correctly?
I don't know.
Okay, well, ask, was this an MMORPG, an RTS, or an FPS?
Okay, say those 3 again. MMO,
real-time strategy, or first-person shooter.
Said no.
Said no. Okay. Well, then what the fuck else could it be on PC that has multiplayer?
Oh yeah, the multiplayer thing is gonna. It could be a sports game. But most sports games would have been multi-platform, though.
Yeah.
Could have been one of those political games. Oh, what about like City Builder?
Yeah, but how many of those had online?
SimCity did the reboot. I don't remember what year that came out, though.
Wasn't that game like 2011, though?
Maybe.
Maybe it's The Sims Online.
Maybe. Well, wouldn't they consider that an MMO?
I don't know if you'd consider that an MMO.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never played The Sims Online. I have no idea what you do in it.
It's The Sims, but online.
You can visit other people's houses, I guess.
Yeah, the neighborhood was other people.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
so it's basically like house builder chat room.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I mean, I guess technically that's what Second Life is.
Yeah, that's why it didn't work out.
Well,
um,
Second Life lets you have adult content.
yeah, that's why it didn't work with The Sims. um, hmm. Mm,
Maybe Spore?
yeah. What would you consider that, a simulation game?
I have no fucking idea what I'd consider Spore. They didn't even know what to call it because it was all sorts of things.
I think all those games would be considered simulation
I
because you're
guess.
simulating something, right?
Yeah.
You're simulating life. You're simulating cities. You're simulating ants.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask it if it's a simulation game, because then we're going to be at our publisher hint.
Yeah. Man, Spore. Every time I think about Spore, I think how they had like three winning games in that, and decided to make one game that was kind of neat, but you know
Yeah. It is not a simulation game.
I could have really gotten into a game that was exclusively about like cultivating like an evolutionary path, and that's like a third of Spore, and then it's just never done again after that.
The only good part of Spore was the final stage, the space stage.
Yeah.
So it is not a simulation game, and the publisher is Nexon. Who's Nexon?
Nexon, that is a Korean publisher. They
Oh shit! It's a gotcha game, but they
no
they
no
didn't have
it's an
gotcha games.
it's an MMO. They publish a lot of MMOs.
But we asked if it was an MMO. He said no.
Yeah, but it's it's also a computer program. It can be wrong. It doesn't understand
Are we? Is
context.
this going to be our return to
Yeah.
standard 20 questions? It might be. Yeah, Nexon. That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Um.
They publish a lot of stuff.
Maybe we should ask if it's a licensed game. They make
Yeah,
any
okay.
licensed stuff?
Yeah, I believe they did.
This would help if I spelled licensed correctly. It's not based on a license.
Okay. Maybe it's Tabula Rasa. They published that.
They did?
Yeah.
It's an MMO though. Should we burn a question and say, is this an MMO? Or we could take the hint and just get the genre.
Let's take the hint and get the genre. I feel like it maybe didn't understand our multi-genre question.
It's just an RPG.
Just an RPG.
I think we might be in trouble here.
Yeah.
This is probably a game outside of our wheelhouse. Unless it's a game that I was not aware was published by.
Yeah, but it's an RPG that has a multiplayer mode?
Oh yeah. But it's not an MMO.
Yeah. What the fuck is that? Like the only game I can think of that would fit that description would be like White Knight Chronicles on the PS3, which has a very specific multiplayer mode for very specific missions.
Yeah, and this one said it's not exclusive to PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this one.
Yeah, if it's a Nexon game that's an RPG and has multiplayer, it's got to be an MMO because that was the bulk of their catalog.
Unless they made maybe they made a one-off.
I don't know.
That we're not gonna know.
They published City of Heroes.
Oh. 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 Who published? Was it Outward?
I don't know.
Is that what? Fuck. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this one. No, I'm not familiar enough with Nexon to know, but yeah, I remember City Heroes, City of Villains. But they went on to make something else after City of Heroes and City of Villains. They shut that down, and then they made something else.
The developer or the publisher?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming the developer.
I think we might have to do the developer question. How many in are we?
13.
13. Yeah, when we get to 15, we'll do the developer question because
I don't even know what to ask it at this point.
Yeah.
Because, like, we know it's a not licensed... I mean, assuming we're being fed correct information.
Yeah.
It is a standard RPG with multiplayer, but it's not an MMO. And it's exclusive to PC, or was at least originally exclusive to PC. That might be where we're being thrown off.
I wonder if they published a game that's like Diablo, because Diablo is an RPG. Well, it's an action RPG that has online play, but it's not an MMO. So I'm wondering if Nexon published a game that was kind of like Diablo.
I will say that one of the genres listed for the game is action RPG, and it did not say action RPG. It just says RPG.
Okay.
Which means it's not a JRPG. But we know that from well, who made like Lost Odyssey and like that was Xbox.
Mistwalker. The X Final Fantasy folks. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we should just take the developer and put an asterisk next to this if we get it. Because I have no idea.
I don't know if we need to put an asterisk next to it.
Well, it's not going to matter because the developer is Nexon.
What the fuck? Do they even have internal development teams?
Apparently. Or they had an internal development team.
Oh, there's no way we're getting this.
Mm-mm. Nope. I think we are fooked.
Well, let's just get fucking... Let's just ask questions and hope we can.
We can close. Still. We have one hint left. We can get the release year or the platform. I think getting the platform might help us if we were stirred in the wrong direction. Release year is not going to help us. I don't think, unless it's an early game and it jogs our memory. But I have to assume it's 2007 to 2010.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know for sure either. Yeah, let's get the platform. What if we're off base about the PC thing? Let's get the platform. I don't think we are, but...
No, it's PC.
Oh, we're fucked.
The problem is, Nexon is not a name that pops into my head very often. Like there might be... I've probably heard of the game before, and I just don't know that Nexon was the one who published it. Like maybe they published WildStar. Like I don't know who published WildStar.
Oh God, WildStar! Now there's a game I haven't thought of in a million years.
Yeah,
wasn't that one supposed to be pretty good?
Yeah, it was excellent. All of the stuff in World of Warcraft where you have to like dodge, enemy like boss encounters and stuff. That all came from WildStar.
Yeah,
they stole it.
Didn't WildStar have like a more actiony focus and not just like click and watch your character do the fighting?
A little bit, yeah. It was a little bit more actiony, but yeah, WoW stole everything from it.
Yeah, everything that it didn't steal from EverQuest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe it is WildStar. Oh, we can ask if it was like a sci-fi theme.
Sure.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, well, it's definitely not Tabula Rasa.
Or WildStar.
Yeah.
Who made the Lord of the Rings game? Or Lord of the Rings Online?
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Okay, is this a fantasy game? Let's ask that. Yes, maybe it is Lord of the Rings Online. I have no fucking idea who made that. Oh, but it's not licensed though, so it's not Lord of the Rings Online. Yeah, this is definitely like a one-off. Oh. Who made Guild Wars?
I don't know if they published Guild Wars. They might have.
It's behind me, so I can't look. Oh, shit.
Well, there's multiple Guild Wars games, so you could ask if it's a game in the Guild Wars franchise, and it wouldn't end the game.
I don't think it is though. Like, there's nothing about Guild Wars that screams Korean developer to me. But maybe.
I think it is a Korean developer, though.
Shit. All right. Is this a Guild Wars game? No, it's not.
No.
We have one question and a guess. I think we're screwed.
We're fucked. We're totally fucked.
A fantasy RPG exclusive to PC,
But
or
it's
originally
not,
exclusive to PC.
But it's not MMO, but it's published by a company and apparently developed by a company that deals almost exclusively in MMOs.
Yeah, we're either being screwed
at a time
or
when
we are.
MMOs were hyper popular.
Yeah,
I think we're being misled here by accident.
You know what? Let's just get the release here, and then we'll see if that jogs anything.
Sure.
I don't know what else to. Oh, we can't because we already. Oh no, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's not going to help us. 2008. I've got nothing. A fantasy RPG exclusive to PC that's not licensed.
From 2008. That's online, but not an MMO. But
well, we don't know if it's online. We just asked if it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
But it is PC, though.
Yeah.
Could be LAN, though. I guess. Not in 2008. No, you're right. Like, I can't think of a single fantasy RPG that was exclusive to PC in 2008?
Yeah.
What the hell? It's probably some anime bullshit game.
That wouldn't be on PC, though. That'd be on PlayStation.
Why?
Because PC gaming isn't as popular in Japan.
Oh my god. Are we going to get this game and just freak out that we didn't get it?
I don't think so. Unless we're being misled.
Yeah, if we're being misled, then
we'll know instantly.
We'll know instantly for sure.
It's going to say some shit like Lineage 2 or some bullshit.
Well, we only have one question, so should we guess Lineage?
Wait, are we on our guess?
Yeah, we have nothing left.
Fuck it, ask if it's Lineage. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right. Is this Lineage? I mean, I don't even know if fucking I do. No, it's not.
What is it?
Oh, God. Okay. We were never going to get it. I've never heard of this game in my life. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'll put it that way. Mabinogi?
Mabinogi? That's an MMORPG.
Okay, you've heard of it. Fucking figures. Fantasy Life Mabinogi, it's called. It doesn't say...
Also, I thought that game was...
It calls it an RPG, not an MMORPG.
I thought that game was more recent. Oh, God, no. It's from 2004 originally. Yeah, it's an MMORPG.
Yeah, we were screwed. So IGN just has it listed as an just a regular RPG. So they have that listed incorrectly. Okay, we got screwed.
Yeah.
Although the AI didn't screw up. I will say that.
Yeah, it's IGN's fault for their
It's IGN's
database
categorizing of the game as a RPG. I've never heard of that. I would never have got that. Would you have got that if you knew it was an MMO?
If I knew it was an MMO, I would have had at least a shot of it because I've heard of the game. I've never played it. But
would you have remembered it without, knowing about it now, though? Like, would it have come to your mind?
I
definitely have never heard of it. Yeah, I've definitely never heard of it. Well,
but I mean, there's still content for it coming out. Like I'm looking it up right now, and there's a collaboration between it and a recent anime series. So
that's crazy.
There's still
who are playing these games that are like these MMOs? You know what I mean? Like
20-year-old MMOs.
Yeah. That I've never heard. I mean, maybe it's just big in Korea. That's always possible.
Yeah.
That looks like an anime game to me, though.
It is a super anime game.
We should have asked that. Is this an anime-based game?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You want to know what's crazy though? Is there's like a prequel game to it that is like the least anime thing you've ever seen. Like the least anime shit ever. They made they made Mabinogi, and then they made a game called Vindictus, which looks like fucking Dark Souls, but it's a prequel to Mabinogi. Like it's a completely different art style.
Yeah, that looks very anime there. Yeah. Very cartoony. All right. Well, do we consider this a loss or screw? I think it would have been a loss either way. But
yeah, there was no way that we were going to get this, because like the fact is, like, even if I had 20 guesses, Nexon has been involved with more than 20 online games.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that Mabinogi was one of them. I didn't know that they were involved with that one. I'm not surprised by it, but I didn't know for a fact.
Yeah.
But we were definitely misled by it being listed as an RPG and telling us that it's not an MMO when it's absolutely a fucking MMO. I mean, we knew that it had to be an MMO, because what kind of online RPG is not an MMO RPG?
Agreed.
It didn't lie to us, but it fucking
stretched the truth.
It misled us.
Yeah.
On technicalities, because the database is. I mean, it's probably some intern just filling in that database, but still.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll chalk it up as a loss. I think either way we wouldn't have guessed that. No, game.
Even if we'd been fed the right information, I don't think we would have come up with that. That game has like, I've never played it, and it doesn't. There's a million Korean MMOs from the 2000s. That's not the first one that would have leapt to mind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 31 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. You can reach me at TJ-Leo on BlueSky.
I'm also on BlueSky at ninjas.bsky.social. I remember the whole thing now.
Yeah, well,
it only took me like 10 episodes.
You can email in your questions to be featured on the show to co.opt.podcasts@gmail.com.
Oh, we should mention you, sir. You appeared in Electric Playground.
Yeah, I didn't even completely forgot about that. Yes, I did. Victor Lucas invited us to potentially have a slice, shall we say, a 30 to 60 second slice of content on the Rocket and Ray Gun Awards.
Mine didn't show up, but that's fine.
No,
yours is better looking than mine. Mine is shot in front of a blank wall, and I had to tape my phone to the opposite wall.
Oh, is that how you did it?
Yeah, that's how I did it.
That's awesome. Yeah, he asked us to record videos, one for our favorite gaming memory of 2024, our favorite game of 2024, and some sort of like developer shout out for a game developed in 2024.
All of mine were Stalker 2.
Yep.
If that's any shock to anyone.
No. Yeah, so all of yours were 2024 Stalker 2. I sent in one for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Ripped to the studio, or the team, I should say. The studio's still there. And then I did a Chance of Senar gaming memory video. And that's the one that got picked.
Yeah, this is what's in there.
That's the one that got chosen. Yeah, someone else talked about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. That's why I'm assuming it didn't get picked up on there. Maybe there was a Stalker 2 person in there. I haven't watched the entire show yet. Yeah. Maybe that's why that one was missed as well.
I could be in there, and you just don't know.
Yeah. Well, I skimmed it as quickly as I could, and I didn't see you, but you could be in there. I haven't had time to watch an hour and a half award show yet, but I do plan on doing that. So if I do see you, I will let you know, and we'll talk about that on the show next week. But yeah, super crazy, cool. I mean, I watched Electric Playground as a kid, so to know that I have a 34-second slice in the Electric Playground lore is pretty damn cool. And it was alongside some pretty big names were in there. David Jaffe was actually in that video.
Maybe we should have talked about him earlier.
or it says David Jaffe Games was credited.
Okay.
So it may have been someone from his team or his studio.
That's such a boring name for a studio.
David, I don't know if that's a studio, like what that is. Like it could be him. I don't know because again I haven't watched it yet. But David Jaffe Games at David Jaffe Games was credited in the video. Who else was credited? Let me see. I have the list here somewhere. Daniel Bloodworth from Easy Allies was in there. I always like him. He's cool. Naomi Kyle was in there. Somebody from Digital Eclipse. Level 857, VR Grid, Brian P. Shea, not sure. Comicbookvideogames.com, a gaming podcast. Who's a gaming podcast? That's like the most generic name ever. Who got that? Apparently a gaming podcast got that. HEP they're called.
Who would put a gaming podcast in the name of their podcast? Only a complete pair of morons would do that.
Yeah, right. Who's in there? Marcel Lee, Sammy Joe Perusa, Camille Salazar, Hadaway, and Aaron. Oh, just Aaron. That's the last
Aaron.
name for just Aaron, the incomparable
like Madonna
Aaron.
Or Sinbad. Aaron.
Yeah. Steve Saylor, Steve how do you say that name? Vigeri? I have no idea. And Riley Little. Yeah. Don't know any of those names, but they are Canadian apparently too. Maybe we should reach out to them. Have a mix it up with the other Canadians. Eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, so it was an honor and a privilege to be chosen for that. So
yeah, I didn't mean to cut into your outro there, but I thought it was worth bringing up.
It's good.
We forgot to do it at the beginning.
Yeah, I meant to bring that up. You had brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of messed with you.
Yeah, you kind of botched my intro or stole it from me. So yeah, all good. All right, don't forget to comment, like, share. If you want to subscribe, click up there. If you missed the last episode of Press Pause Gaming Podcast, click down there.
I promise I'm not going to talk about being naked, other than saying that I'm promising I'm not going to talk about.
Bingo card. Bingo card. All right, anyway, this has been the show. We'll see you next week. Now get back to gaming.
We out.